my new 20 by 20 terrarium, and this one is by Terra, and it does come with a rock background, and that's made of foam. And what I'll be using is some gravel for the false bottom and a window screen to separate the drainage layer from the substrate. So I'll start by putting the gravel in the bottom. Now when you put the gravel in the bottom of the tank, you want to make sure it's laid out evenly so that you will not have some areas with the screen higher and some with the screen lower. So my substrate layer is just potty mix dirt, sand, wood shavings, and dried up bits of grass. And I just mix that all together and let it sit there for quite a few days to really melt together, I would say. So what I'll be doing is I will be just putting it on top of the screen and just piling it on wherever it needs it and try to get an even layer. And yep. So what you want to do is you want to make it higher towards the back, just so if we have bigger plants, they'll be able to grow and they won't just die off straight away. So I'm just sloping it up towards the back and leaving enough room for the air vent hole in the front to be able to work. So I have this bit of wood here that I found, and I want it to kind of sit in nicely, and you can play around with different bits of wood, find out what works for you. And yeah, so I found out this bit of wood worked, and other little bit of wood looked nice over here, so I just played around with it for a little while before I started putting plants in. So my first plant is called a peace lily, and this plant I'll be putting in the back corner behind my big bed of wood. Now I'm digging a hole now, and I did have to pile some dirt around it because it wasn't deep enough to actually fit the plant in, and there were two leaves that stuck at the top of the lid, and I did need to trim those back, but new leaves will grow. So I'll just pile the dirt around it wherever it needs it, and then I'll put the piece of wood back in. So now I'm going to be giving the tank a good mist with my mist spray bottle, and this just to keep it all wet so that when I place like moss and stuff in, it will stay alive when I'm making it. plant I'll be putting in are these two little baby ferns. Now, sadly, these ferns did not survive in this tank because I left them out in the sun too long before I put them in. If you have a plant, you should have it ready to go in the tank straight away and not having it sit out in the tank for a long time. Now I'll be putting some moss in. Now, I do not know exactly what type of species this is. All I know is that it's a moss and it looks nice, and I'm going to put it in there. So I'm just placing this one on the bottom of the tank. Now, I picked up a lot of moss, but I basically only need one piece for the bottom of the tank, and I had like 5 others. And I just laid that on the ground and tucked it behind areas. Now I'm adding these plants. Now, those ones do grow pretty fast, and they just grow everywhere. And in the tank, it does look nice, and you can trim it back and plant some other places. And yeah, so I'm adding this one behind a bit of wood, and I'm adding some moss on a piece of wood, which I am clipping on with some staples from a staple gun. And yeah, that just holds it in place till it's like baked, I would say, into the wood when it's adhered. And yeah, I'm just adding a few wherever I need it to keep it on the wood. Now I'm just getting a little, I actually have no idea what this plant is called, but I'm adding a little plant over there next to the ferns just because I felt like it needed it, and just mixed the whole thing down. And now I shall be adding some leaf litter, and that's just to help the isopods to have a place to hide, and so they won't just eat my plants in the tank. Now I'm just going to be adding a little rock just on top of those leaves, just because I felt like it needed something there. And then I'm just trimming back those peace lily leaves. And don't worry, the plant won't die off. I've done this many times in my bigger tank, and it has survived. Now I'm just adding some springtails. These will help take care of the mold that might start growing in the tank, and they will just basically keep the tank clean, and no mold will grow in. And yep, so these are a good thing to add to your tank. And don't worry, they won't eat your plants. I have not noticed them eat it at all. Next time, adding some, and I did add some worms, just to keep the substrate good and help the plants grow. And isopods, so I'm just going to add them in the tank, and they will wander around and explore it. And now this is basically the finished product. Now I do want to let this have some time to grow before I add any bugs or animals. So this is what it looks like. I have little bugs exploring. So this is the finished result, and I hope you all liked watching me make this, and thanks for watching. Bye.